Hey guys, my name is Crystal and I'm a peer health educator. Have you ever heard the phrase, you are what you eat? I'm here today to tell you that you literally are what you eat. This episode is on nutrition basics and food labels. Let's get started.
Hi, I'm Alex. I'm another member of the PHE Healthy Eating team, and I'm going to quickly touch on some of the learning goals for today's session. So firstly, by the end of this video, we want everyone to gain an understanding of nutrition, what it is, and how it applies to them. We also want to make sure that everyone gains an understanding of the different nutrient classes in food. And finally, we want people to be able to apply their knowledge on nutrients and nutrition when reading and interpreting food labels at the grocery store. I'm sure at some point we've all had questions about nutrition and been confused about the terminology we use. Like, what's potassium? Is it important? How about sodium? What about carbohydrates, proteins, water? Where does it all fit in? We'll be looking at some of these types of questions in the upcoming slides.
So what is nutrition? Nutrition is the study of food substances necessary to maintain life and grow and repair tissues. It enables us to study well, because I know we all love to study, stay active, and feel energized without constantly drinking coffee. Nutrition also sometimes concerns behaviors related to food and eating, such as remembering to eat, because I know not everybody remembers to eat. For you watching this, why is nutrition important? Maybe because it provides you with energy, or that it helps you focus and concentrate. Perhaps because there is something in food that you want to be careful of, such as those with celiac disease. There are a multitude of reasons why nutrition can be important to someone and how it impacts their life. We can try and be mindful to acknowledge that nutrition impacts everyone. It has implications throughout one's lifespan, even before you're born. Think about your nutritional needs when you were a baby versus when you will be much older. Good nutrition is important to protect against malnutrition and non-communicable diseases. For example, this may include diabetes or heart disease, stroke, possibly cancer.
Food labels are an important source of nutritional information, and you should be checking them whenever you purchase food from the grocery store. One of the first things you'll notice on the label is the serving size, which might not be exactly what you expect. A family-sized bag of chips, for example, has a serving size of just 15 chips, even though the bag might contain 100 or even 200 chips. Calories are another important consideration that can be found on the food label, although contrary to popular belief, more calories does not necessarily mean less healthy. Take strawberries and almonds, for example. They're both healthy foods, but 25 strawberries and just 14 almonds contain the same amount of calories. They have vastly different caloric densities. In a typical day, you need roughly 2,000 calories, but this can vary from person to person. Finally, food labels also contain lots of information on macro and micronutrients, but we'll be touching on these later in the video. Here's a quick example of a food label. Take a few seconds and make sure to identify some of the different features on it, such as information on macronutrients, serving size, as well as information on vitamins and minerals.
What types of nutrients can you see on this plate? You're probably aware of several nutrient classes already. Can you think of any? You are probably thinking about proteins, carbohydrates, and lipids, otherwise known as fats. These three nutrient classes provide you with energy. There are 6 nutrient classes in total. The remaining 3 are vitamins, minerals, and water. These 3 nutrient classes do not provide you with energy, but are necessary to maintain life. Another way to categorize these nutrient classes is by how much of it we need to consume. Macronutrients include proteins, carbohydrates, lipids, and water. Micronutrients include vitamins and minerals.
So the first class of macronutrients we'll be discussing today are fats, also known as lipids. They should make up roughly 20 to 35% of your daily calories, and they're an important source of high-density energy and are building blocks for things like hormones within the body. You may have heard the term good fats and bad fats, but what are they? So good fats are your poly and monounsaturated fats, which contain fatty acids, and you can find these types of fats in foods like fish, seeds, and nuts. On the other hand, you have your bad fats, and these are saturated fats and trans fats. These should be consumed in moderation as they are linked to an increased risk of cardiovascular disease, and they're typically found in processed foods, meats, and cheeses.
Carbohydrates. These are our main fuel source. They should consist of 45 to 65% of our total calories. Carbohydrates are found as monosaccharides, disaccharides, and polysaccharides, which are also known as starchy foods. This includes bread, cereal, potatoes, and pasta. We break these down into single molecules called glucose so that our body can use it for energy. Fiber is a type of carbohydrate that our bodies cannot digest because we lack the enzymes that break it down in our digestive systems. Fiber is an important part of a healthy diet because it helps with digestion and promotes the feeling of fullness, and it also bulks up our stool. Added sugar is a carbohydrate that we should try to limit because it can increase the risk of heart disease and other conditions.
So the final class of macronutrients we'll be discussing today are the proteins. These should make up roughly 10 to 35% of your diet, as they help with bodily processes such as growth and maintenance, and also help to build muscle. So when we consume sources of protein, we break them down into building blocks called amino acids. And there are 9 of these amino acids that are essential, meaning that we have to get them from food in our diet. Meat is an excellent source of protein, but also consider plant sources like tofu and different soy products, nuts and seeds and lentils. To all the wonderful smart people watching this video, I have a quiz for you. So, which of the 3 macronutrients should typically make up the largest proportion of your diet? Take a few seconds, think about your answer, A, B, or C. And the correct answer is A, carbohydrates.
Now I'm going to touch briefly on micronutrients. Sodium, also known as salt, is important for our body's water balance and nerve and muscle function. The max amount we should be consuming per day, and I recommend you stay lower than this, is 2,300 milligrams per day. Other nutrients provide a variety of benefits. There are metals such as iron, magnesium, and zinc. These are important for making hormones and hemoglobin in red blood cells. Vitamins. This includes vitamins A, B, C, D, E, and K. These are found in fruits and vegetables and are important for normal function and health. Calcium is important for your bones and teeth, in case you didn't already know that. It's important to consider dietary restrictions, such as iron or zinc for vegans. Eating a variety of foods can help us meet our nutritional needs. Eating a balanced diet helps to moderate the quantities of nutrients we consume in a healthy and manageable way. That being said, don't deny yourself a treat here and there. Moderation is key. What nutrient class do you think you consume the most of? Is it water? Carbohydrates? Maybe it's protein? And what proportion of macronutrients do you think is appropriate for your energy needs?
So all this talk of macronutrients and micronutrients can get pretty confusing, but a simple rule of thumb to follow in the grocery store is to purchase food that falls in the 3 categories recognized by the Canada Food Guide. And these are fruits and vegetables, protein foods, and whole grains. Now, if you're like me, growing up you might have learned that there's a 4th category, which is dairy. But now the Canada Food Guide simply puts dairy under the category of protein foods.
The WHO has many recommendations on how to have a healthy diet. Eat a variety of whole foods. This ensures that you obtain all sorts of nutrients to stay healthy. Eat plenty of vegetables and fruit. This lowers the risk of obesity, heart disease, stroke, diabetes, and some cancers. Eat moderate amounts of fat and oil. It is a concentrated energy source. Eating too much can be harmful to your health. Eat less salt and sugars. This lowers the risk of non-communicable diseases, such as obesity, heart disease, and stroke. Naturally occurring sugars, such as those found in fruit, are okay to eat. The food we eat them from has other vitamins and minerals. However, when sugar is extracted from food and added to another, it is now devoid of nutrients. These are called added sugars. In each part of the grocery store, which nutrients are most predominant? Do you know?
All right, so we're coming up to the end of the video, and that was a lot of information. So here's a quick recap of some things to keep in mind. Firstly, it's always important to remember that healthy eating looks different for everyone, depending on your age and your activity levels and any dietary restrictions you may have. Second, always be checking food labels because they contain important information on the macro and micronutrients that can be found in food. It's a good idea to generally eat a variety of foods, and don't be afraid to enjoy a treat now and then. Finally, eat with others and enjoy eating.
These are some links in case you want to learn more, and if you're still a little bit confused, I would highly recommend you open these links. In terms of Queen's resources, we have nutrition counseling. This is offered through the Employee and Family Assistance Program. You can also access Telehealth Ontario or visit www.unlockfood.ca.
On behalf of Crystal and myself, I'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch this video. We hope that it was helpful for you for better understanding nutrition and the food that you're eating. And be sure to check out any of our references if you want to do some more reading on nutrition, health, and more.